Hello guys, let's start with our module 2, SQL environment setup. Let's start with the first video of the module, installing MySQL for Windows and Mac OS. So from the heading you can understand that we are going to look at the setup process of MySQL workbench for Windows and Mac OS system. So let's start with Windows system first. So let's first go to your favorite browser, like mine is Google. So I will just search here MySQL. Okay. Then I will click on this particular link. Then I will go to downloads tab. Then I will scroll down. Here MySQL community downloads. I will click on this. Then MySQL installer for Windows. Great. Then click on this 556 MB one, this one. Okay. Click on download here. No thanks, just start my download. If you want to log in. Otherwise, it's not required. So click here in this particular link. Okay. So my download has started and it will take some couple of seconds or might minute. So the file got downloaded. I'll right click, open, preparing to install. So let's hold on to it. Okay. So here choosing a setup, we will click on custom. Okay, then I will click on next. Now here in MySQL server, click on it, click on it, click on it, click this, click on this arrow. So it will drag to this product to be installed. Then we'll go to application, MySQL workbench. Again, we want the workbench also, we want the server, we want the shell also. So we'll click on this and this. Okay. Then I'll click on next. And okay, the installation has started. Okay, the installation got completed. Now click on next. Okay, click on next. Keep it as it is. Click on next. Click on next. Now put the password for you. Like MySQL root password for me will be root 123. Root 123, and you can have your own password according to your need. Then click on next. Then again click on next. Okay, I have clicked on execute and look, this configuration steps has been started here. Okay. Okay. Now we'll click on finish and then we'll click on next here. Then we'll click on finish. Okay. So this is going to start my workbench. So the installation is complete. Fine. Now we have to set the path also. Okay. We'll search for environment variable. Okay. We'll first go here and click on environment variables. Then we'll click on path. Then we'll click. Okay. We'll double click here actually. Okay. Let's see if the path has already been assigned here. Okay. If you can see here, C program files MySQL shell 8.0 bin. So this is a shell password which has been automatically added here. Okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna um, go to this folder, then we are going in OS files, then we are going at program files, then we'll go at MySQL, then MySQL server bin, and we'll copy this path. Okay, and we will come back, we'll paste it here and we'll click on OK. Okay, so that particular part got fitted there, basically I would say that, and click on OK and OK, and we'll close this. Great. Now we're gonna check whether the MySQL installation has been done completely or not. Okay, so we'll go and search for command prompt, and here I will search MySQL version. Okay, so it is done. Then we're gonna check whether we are able to access the MySQL through this shell or not. So we will write MySQL. This means user, root. This means p means password. Okay, dash u means user, dash p means password, and we click enter, and I will enter my password here. Okay, and I will click enter. So it says that welcome to MySQL monitor commands with and your MySQL connection ID is 11 and everything is done. This means that everything is well and good and everything is connected and everything is working. Okay. Now just to confirm, okay, what I will write, show databases. What I missed is basically the semicolon. Okay, so you have to give the semicolon because we are using writing SQL commands here right now. So these are the default databases which is given to us. So this basically says that our complete installation of MySQL for the Windows based system is completely done. Okay. Okay, great. So here also, if I just click here and let's see what happens. Okay, great, great. So we'll close this. So for Windows based system, MySQL Workbench installation is completely done. Now let's move to the macOS installation for MySQL. Okay. So before moving ahead for the installation of MySQL for macOS based PCs, I would like to inform you that my system is completely based on Windows. So I won't be able to show you how the installation process goes for the macOS, but I can give you the guarantee that if you watch the video for or installation process for how it is done in the Windows based systems, it is exactly similar as to that of, just since it's a different operating system like macOS, it might have some different ways of doing the things, right? But the checks which you have to do, the password which you have to set, the environmental path which you have to put will be the same process. Okay. So
Google.
moving ahead with that, let's check how we're gonna do that. So I will just open uh, okay, again I will search for MySQL and I will go here, click on downloads tab, then scroll down, click on MySQL community GPL downloads. Now here I will click on MySQL community server. Okay, select macOS. Now from here, whichever has this ARM written, it basically means it is silicon based chips, which is basically M1, M2, M3 chips. Okay, and x86 means Intel based chips if you have that in your macOS. Okay, there are two different versions of chips in macOS. According to that, please download the particular installer. Like for M1, M2 chip, you should download this for the latest version, and for the Intel, you should download this. Okay, so after downloading these versions, you have to follow the steps which is given into the particular dialog box. Only you have to keep in mind about the changing of the path in the macOS. Okay, so for that, I will try to attach some steps so that you can take the reference from. And if you have any doubts regarding that, you can share that doubts to me, so we can uh, put a workaround on that and find a solution for it. And there are more communities for on the basis of how to download and install macOS community server, so you can get the help from there also. I will share that link also if I get one proper link, and also the steps as I said earlier. Okay, so this will be the MySQL community server, right? This will be basically working on a shell or something like that, right? uh, then you need the workbench, which is basically GUI. So we'll click here, we'll click macOS. Again, here you have two options. ARM is basically silicon chip, which is M1, M2, M3, and x86 is basically Intel based, right? Here also you have to follow the exact step which is given in the dialog box. If you have any doubts, you can watch the Mac users. Basically, you can watch the Windows based installation. You will get the idea of how you have to set the password, how what custom or server which you have to select if that comes, right? Again, I'm saying that it's the same thing. If you face any issue, please let me know. We will find a way around it and give you the solution. Secondly, I will also try to share steps on how to install the community server, not the workbench, because workbench will be much more easier if you just watch the video comparatively. So this was all about the installing MySQL for Windows and macOS, and I hope you understood the installation processes. So guys, let's move to the next topic. Moving to the installation of PostgreSQL for both Windows and macOS based systems. So first, let's start with the Windows installation process. So we'll go to our favorite web browser and we will search for postgreSQL. Okay. Okay. Now we will go to this first link. Then we will click on download. Then here we can see, right, it's for Linux, Mac OS, Windows, BSD, and Solaris. So we are doing the installation for Windows. So we'll click on this Windows part, and then we'll click on, if you can see here, interactive installer by DB, and download the installer certified by DB. We'll click on this particular link. Okay. Um, Required only. Okay. So from here we will take the latest version of PostgreSQL, which is 18.2, and we are taking it for Windows 86 64-bit. So we'll click on this download button. So it has started to download, as you can see here, right? So let's wait for this download to get complete. So as you can see, this download is completed. Okay, we'll just click on right click on this and click on open. Okay, it's getting started. Okay, so we have the dialog box. So let's click on next. So installation directory. Okay, I'm installing this in PostgreSQL and C program files. Fine. Next. Let all this be selected and click on next again. So this is the path where our SQL queries and tables and data will be stored. Okay. Now click on next. Now assign a password for this. Also, I will give a password for root 123 root 123. You can give your own password, whatever suits you best. Then I will click on next again. This is the port number. Then next. Select the local to be used by the new database cluster. Here you have to select the language English. Okay, okay, let me type here English. Okay, so yeah, so this is the language. Then I will click on next. Then next. Then setup is now ready to begin installing PostgreSQL on your computer. Okay, next. So this installation might take some time. So we are just closed for this installation process to get complete. So let's hold again for a couple of minutes. Okay, so the installation process is complete. Stack Builder may be used to download and install additional tools. No, uncheck this. We don't want Stack Builder. And we'll click on finish. Okay, so the installation process is done for this PostgreSQL. Let's search for it. PG admin 4. Okay, so this is the GUI, you could say. So let's wait. It's getting started. Okay, okay, we'll make it full screen. So click on servers, Postgres 18. Okay, so it's asking you about the password, right? So my password was root 123, and I'll click on save password so I don't have to enter it again and again, and click on OK. So you can see that the installation is completely done. So it gives us a default database and everything. So the complete installation process for the PostgreSQL for Windows is done. Now let's move ahead for the macOS installation. So I will close this now. Yes. Okay. So let's go for the macOS now. Okay. Again, I will just search for PostgreSQL. Go to this link. Click on this download button. Then click on this macOS. Again, download the installer. Okay. My system is Windows based. Okay. So I was able to show you the complete installation process of the uh, Postgres for the Windows applications. But for the Mac OS also, you have to follow the same steps. If your system is Mac OS, please look at the Windows installation process. Mac OS also has the same installation process. Okay, so you don't have to worry about this. Just click on this download installer link. Just check what version you want. Currently, we are using 18.2. Just click on Mac OS X. Okay, and it will just download this installation application. Just follow the steps. It will be exactly same as the Windows one, and you will be good to go with that particular Postgres GUI. Okay, and if you have any doubts regarding macOS or Windows installation process, do let me know. We will figure out some way to solve these issues. Okay, so this is all about the installation process of PostgreSQL for Windows and macOS. I hope you understood the installation. So guys, let's move to the next topic. Moving to the installation of DBeaver for Windows and Mac OS. So first, we will start with the Windows installation process. Then we will go with the Mac OS. Okay. So let's go to your favorite web browser. So I will use Google and I will search for DBeaver. Okay. I will go to this first link. Great. Then I will go to this download link, tab. Now you can see here two things. One is DBeaver Pro and one is DBeaver Community Edition. So we have, since we are on a learning phase and practicing, we'll use community phase. Community phase also has everything. Like DBeaver has some, professional features, you might say. So since we are going with the Windows installation, we will see that Windows is written here. We'll click on this Windows installer, and then okay, it has started to download. Okay, so right click on this, open. Okay, dialog box has opened. So click on next. Um, what was there? Okay, click on next. Click on I agree. Select whether to install DBeaver community for all users or for the current user. Of course, for the current user, I will be installing it for me only, right? So click on next. Okay, so check all of this. Reset settings, associate SQL files, associate SQL database files. Okay, then click on next. Great. Now the destination folder for the installation of this particular app will be this. You can change. You could give your own folders. Then I will click on next. Then I will click on install. Now it is getting installed. Okay. Let's see what's happening. Mhm. Okay. So we'll create a desktop icon and click on finish. Okay. Now we'll go and search for this DBeaver. Okay, there it is. Click on open. Okay, so the application is getting started. Mm, do not share data, confirm. Do you want to create a sample database? Yeah, yes. Okay, so it created a sample database of SQLite format. Okay, now, like how DBeaver works. DBeaver basically works. Okay, what are these errors? Okay, just click on it. Okay, how DBeaver works is basically connecting MySQL, postgreSQL, or any other databases to this particular platform, so that one platform can use multiple database platforms. Like I will show it to you how it works. I will click on this connect. Okay. Okay. So look, now I want postgreSQL. Okay. Where it is? Okay, this one. This one, right? I will click on next. Hold on. Okay. So everything is fine, right? I will just give my password. Root 123. It was a password of my PostgreSQL, if you remember, if you've seen the previous video. And save password, you can click on that. So this is a local host and this is Postgres. If your port number is different for your PostgreSQL, please add that. Otherwise, always the default uh, host is 5432 only for PostgreSQL. And before clicking on finish, I will just test the connection and check. So it says that you're about to download a file for standard drivers. Okay, download. Mhm. Okay, it's just checking. Connected. It says connected, right? So it means it's okay. So click on finish now. Okay, you can see this particular thing came here, right? So databases. Okay, this particular Postgres has only this one database in default. Right? Let's see the table. Let's go and see the views if there is any. Okay. So yeah. So it was all about the installation process of DBeaver for the Windows system. I hope you understood this installation process. Now let's move to the Mac OS installation process. Now, so before going ahead with the installation of DBeaver for the Mac OS system, I wanted to inform you that my system is completely based on Windows. So that was the reason I was able to give you the complete installation process of the Windows based DBeaver. But for the Mac OS also, the installation process and everything is completely same as the Windows. Just there would be one or two different ways of going through it because it's a Mac OS, but the every steps and every files which I selected and every path which I selected to keep the files, everything will be exactly same. So if you take the reference of the Windows installation process for the DBeaver, it will be very helpful for the Mac users. Okay, so what I will do, let's go for the DBeaver site. Okay, community edition, download, scrolling down like same only like DBeaver community. I will go to the Mac OS. Now, here are two things: Mac OS for Apple Silicon, Mac OS for Intel. Now, whoever has the Mac OS of the Intel processor, please use this second link. And whoever has the Mac OS for Silicon chip, this is basically M1, M2, M3, M4 chips, please use the above one. Okay. So if you go here, click on this, it will start downloading that. And if you click on Intel, it will start downloading for the Intel process. Okay, and it will be the exactly same. Again, I'm repeating this exactly same process of what we use for the Windows installation process. There might be some UI difference because of course it's a different system which is a Mac OS, but everything will be the same. Okay, and if you face any issue while installing for the Mac OS or the Windows based system, do let me know. We will try to figure out some solution for it. So this was all about the installation process of DBeaver for Windows and Mac OS, and I hope you understood the installation process. So guys, let's move to the next topic. Moving on to the next topic, which is MySQL Editor and Tool Overview. So in this particular video, we will try to take a brief overview of how MySQL platform works, so that we are a bit familiar with the platform as we go ahead. Okay, we'll go here and we'll search for MySQL. So MySQL Workbench, open. Great. Click on this localhost local instance. Okay. Now, in my case, it didn't ask for the password because if you watch the installation part, there you can see I have clicked on save password. That's why I didn't ask for any password here. Okay. So what I will do, so this is the platform. Okay. So what here you can see is that this is a schema, which is a default schema given to us. Okay. These are default views and all that. So it's of no use. That's like how a structure is. It's a stored procedure. These are the functions which we write in SQL. These are the stored procedures which we write in SQL. Okay. We will learn about that as we go further. So you don't have to worry about that. And what else I can show it to you. Okay, click on this database and click on connect to database. Okay, if this is not selected local instance, then please click on the drop down and select that. Okay, and then click on OK. So this will help in connecting the database with your MySQL server. Okay, otherwise you won't be able to see any schemas which you have built or you have not built. Okay, so that's the thing. So let's start. So let's some of the there are few default, or I will say demo databases which is given to us by MySQL. I will check those first. So databases, don't worry about these queries and all, we will learn all of them. I'm just trying to give you the overview how it works. Okay, so you can see that here it shows the query which we run, it returned 4 rows in this particular duration when the action was database at this period of time. Okay, and this is the result of particular query which I ran. Okay, now that's that, right? Now suppose if I want to use the database MySQL, I will just write MySQL, use MySQL and semicolon and enter. Okay, what you can see here, use MySQL query ran successfully and 0 rows were affected in this particular seconds. Okay, now if I write select star from, or I will just write here first, show tables. Now it will show all the tables present in that MySQL database. Okay, right. Again, you can see the third row, show tables at this particular time duration. 38 rows were returned in this particular time. The time total taken was this right duration. So these are the tables right in this particular DB. So what I will try doing, I will just try to fetch from this particular table. Select star from component table. Okay. Okay. So this component table result was returned. Yeah. Since it's empty, that's a different thing. But yeah, this is how MySQL gives you the result. Okay, this is a table, and you can see here I ran this query and nothing was returned here. 0 rows were returned and duration was taken at 0 seconds. Now this is one thing, right? And if you click here, let me just increase its size. Okay, this is a result of grid format, right? If I want to look in form editor, it will be of this way, right? Suppose if I run this query again, and one more thing, suppose I have written multiple queries here, right? But I want to just run one particular query. Suppose this query number, uh, query row number 5. I will just bring my cursor here, click on it, and I will click this particular what do we say, star icon. What it will do? It will execute a selected portion of the script or everything if there is no selection. And if I click on this, execute a statement under the keyboard cursor. Okay, I will click on this. Okay, it only ran this particular query. Now, if now coming back to here, it's in result grid, right? If you want to look at another form like form editor, so this will be a different type. Okay, then you have to keep on going, like component table is there, DB table is there, right? Field types, so tables in SQL, right? So these are the ways if you want to look at, but this is another way. But most convenient is result grid format. What else I can show to you? Okay, if I ran this particular query, suppose if I ran this query, this if I just click anywhere, right? I have clicked here and I click on this particular button. It what it will do, as you can see, it will run all the queries all together one by one, right? And this will run only one particular query at a single given time, like line number 7 it ran, correct? And what is this? This is execute the explain command on the statement on the cursor. So suppose if I click on show tables only, and I'll click on this explanation data not available for the statement. Suppose if you have put any explanation data there, it will just give the explanation data there, right? Let's try again for this line. Right here you can see the explanation data which is given to us by MySQL. What it does, it shows that the query was run, query cost was 0.35, full table scan was done, then you get the information, right? This is, you can know about these details, but it is not required as much. Fine. Then what else? Okay, this is a limit to 1,000 rows, 50,000 rows. Like, while we will go forward, we'll learn how to use the limit keyword in MySQL queries itself, not in MySQL queries, in SQL queries itself. But this is the GUI which is given to you, man. If you forget to write, you have written a lot of queries, right? You forgot to write limit or you don't want to write limit. Okay, so you can just click here and just put this filter that don't show me more than 500 rows or 1,000 rows, whatever it is. Fine. Even if the data has lakhs of rows. So this was a basic overview of this. Now, if you want to save, click on this to save the script as file. Okay, this will save it and open the script in this editor. If you click on this, if you have already written a script somewhere and you want to export here or want to open it here, you can click on this particular button. Coming back here, let me show you one more thing. Um, so I've written a block of script which I will paste here. Okay, you don't have to worry about or like to understand what it is, but to give a brief idea, this is for creating a database. This is for using that particular database, and from that database, I'm creating in that particular database. I'm creating a table. Okay, and then I'm inserting the data in this particular table within that database. Fine. And then I'm querying that particular table, right? Great. Now I will just click on this as it will run all the scripts line by line, right? Everything is ran and you can see the table is created here. And also if I refresh this, I can see that company DB database is created in the left hand side. If I click on this drop down, a table within the table, an employees table is created, and the columns are be created here, right? So this is what it is. Now, if it had any foreign case, it would have been shown here, and if it had any triggers, it will be visible here. Similarly with the indexes also, correct? Correct. Now, one more thing I wanted to show. So, if by any chance, when you log in into this particular MySQL instance and you are not able to see your database, right? So, what you are supposed to do, as I said earlier, click on this database and connect to the database. So, it might be an issue that a disconnection might have happened. Okay, and that is why database you are not the database is not getting being loaded. Okay, that might be the one of the that will be the one of the reason. Okay, So please click on connect to database and click on OK. So it will connect to the database and it will fetch all of your database servers, I mean, and fetch all of your databases from there and the tables and everything, whatever it has. Okay. So in file, what you can see, you can clear a new model, uh, open a SQL, clicked on something wrong. Okay. In file, like open a SQL script. So when a SQL script is there, you can open it from here, either from here, right? Both are the same thing only. Then close the connection tab. You can do it from here. Like if you click on this, it will get basically, uh, it will close this particular tab. Okay, whatever it has, and if you click on this again, it will reconnect to the database, and you can see the databases here, right? So database server, and you can see the databases here. On view, like you can check for the panels, and you can go to the home, like query all selections, query all. There is a basically same thing only, which you can do through the given icons there in the tab, or you can come here and you can set the limit of the rows, reconnect to server if the server connection has been lost. Okay, so these are the things. And server status you want to look at, client connection you want to look at, everything is there. If you want to export the data, import the data, everything, these are all simple things, right? So I'm just going through them, like script scale, new script, open a script, run one workbench script file. If you need any help, any documentation you want to read, everything is present here. So this is pretty basic. Don't worry about SQL queries, that we will learn as you go ahead. So this was an overview of the MySQL workbench, how it works and how it looks. Okay, so even if you go to the edit tab and if you go to the preference, and there you can just change the settings, like how it should look, how the diagram should look, what should the font and color should be, what should be the appearance. These are not required because as we are in practicing mode, so this you don't have to worry about all these things, right? But you're free to do so. So this is all about MySQL editor and tool overview, and I hope you understood this topic. So guys, let's move to the next topic. Moving on to the next topic, which is PostgreSQL editor and tool overview. So in this particular video, I will try to give you a overview or a brief of how PostgreSQL dashboard looks like, right? So we will just look into that. So we'll go in search menu and search for PG admin for the GUI. Okay, PG admin. So click on this PG admin 4, open. So now you can check here servers, right? So click on this toggle menu. Now this is Postgres SQL 17 and this is Postgres SQL 18. So we will, if you want, you can work on either 17 or 18. It's your choice. So both are same, uh, in same, I mean in dashboards or in functioning way. So we'll try with Postgres SQL 18 and click here. Okay, you can see here server connected in the right bottom. Okay, so our server is connected here. Now let me close this everything. Okay, now first let's try to get the tools. Okay, click on query tool. So this is basically a query tool where we can query the stuffs. Okay, like scripting which we can do here basically. Now here, if you can see, within PostgreSQL 18 server, there is a database which is Postgres. Correct? This is a default database which is given to us by the PostgreSQL. I will click here again. So here you can see cards, catalogs, event triggers, extension. All these functionalities are given here, right? Now, but our main aim is to look at schema. Okay. Within schema, there is public. Okay. There is one schema named public. And if I open this public and if I scroll down, there is this views, types, trigger functions, tables, right? So our main thing is tables. Currently, it does not have any table within it. Okay. So and within that table uh, section, we will have multiple tables within that particular schema, which is public, and within the database, which is Postgres. I hope you understood this chronology. Okay. And these are procedures, operators, sequences, functions, foreign tables, you know, domains, collations, FTSs, trigger functions, types, views. We will learn about this as we go further in our particular course. Okay, subscriptions is also present here. So this was the structure here. I hope you understood this particular thing. Now let's try to query something. So we'll just bring some query here. Okay, because since we don't have the tables, I will try creating the table and putting some data in it and try to query that particular table. Okay, so let's start with this. Set up the table, right? Create table. Please don't worry about the queries. I will explain you everything as we go further in the course. That is why you're in this particular course, to understand how query works, right? So currently don't worry about this. So we'll just run this 2 to 7 rows offline and click here. Query returned successfully. Fine. Create table was done. Now, if here I can see, if I refresh this, I can see demo product table is created. Okay, within their particular database. Okay, and what columns we have: product ID, product name, price tags, right? So I think if I go to the columns part, we can see everything, and we can also see their types, whether it is integer, text, numeric, right? You can see it here. We can even see the constraints here, if any constraints is provided, like demo products primary key is there as a product key, constraints. Okay, so this is done. Now let's move ahead and put some data here. Look, I'm clicking here, right? So it will just run this particular part of script. Insert 0,3. Now again I will, let me refresh this. Great. If you can see here, um, let's see if you can see the table directly with this GUI or not. Look, yeah. So if I click here, right, all rows, so it will it will show me the data what is within this particular table, right? So this is a GUI format. Okay, through GUI how you want to look into the data. Now if I go down, just okay, we'll run this query also. Like I'm selecting product, price, and tags, and if you go come here, if you can see in tags, we have multiple tags, right? That is why one means zero. It starts from zeroth index, then the first index, right? Don't worry about this. Just look at the query and understand. Okay, now you can see that everything is fetched from this table. Electronics. Okay, okay. So my mistake here. Uh, Actually, 0, 1 is used in programming languages like C++, Python, and all. But here, where index starts from either 0 by default, correct? But here, 1 means the first index itself. Okay, so I got confused in that particular scenario, like you can see here. Okay, so yeah, so this is the output. So as you can see, this is the data. You can see this is the messages where you can see everything. This is the notification if you get any. Okay, so this part is done. I hope you understood this particular thing. Now explain, analyze, right? And there is explain. Suppose if I select this and click on explain here, it will just give me some explanation of this, right? If I right click on this, it will give me the explanation. Okay, and if I again click on explain, analyze, so it will give me something again, analysis format, statistics format. So these are the things you can look into if required. Okay, and one more thing. So if I right click here in Postgres, you can look at multiple formats, right? You can create schema, cast databases, everything you can do here. Okay, create script ERD for databases, export the data using queries. If you want PSQL, PSQL is something else. Okay, so if you want to write that particular script, it's present here, right? Everything you can do here for this database. If you click here, query tool workspace, this is query tool workspace. So it is not needed as of now, right? But if you want to connect to a server, then it's the one you need to do. This is PSQL tool workspace. PSQL is a different scripting language. It's basically it's a programming SQL which is derived from SQL, where we write the things in a programming manner. Okay, and in objects, if you go, you can create schema, cast, again same thing. If you go to tools, again you have multiple things. You can create server name and all those you can do. Then you can go to view and Google developers tools and modify according to you. Window help, everything is there. So coming back, so this was all about the Postgres SQL editor and tool overview, and I hope you understood this topic. So guys, let's move to the next topic. Moving on to the next topic, which is DBeaver editor and tool overview. So in this particular video, I will give you an overview of the dashboard of DBeaver tool. Okay, so let's have a look in it. Search for DBeaver. So I will open this. So here, if you can see, there is a DBeaver sample database, which is of SQLite database. Okay, so as if you remember, this was the database which created while we were installing this DBeaver, right? So we'll just cancel this. It's not required to do anything. Okay. Okay, and this is another dockyard dev. This is something else which is given by default in DBeaver. I don't know what it is. Let's look into it. It's loading. Okay, let it be. It will take some time. So let's focus on basically before. Okay, okay. So before moving ahead, I would like to give you an idea what is DBeaver is basically. DBeaver is essentially a universal database tool. What that universal means, it's not unlike like pgadmin, which is PostgreSQL, or MySQL, which is built specifically for PostgreSQL or MySQL, right? DBeaver act as a single cockpit where you can manage many different types of databases at once. Basically, it's like if you know about Visual Code Studio, where you can code in all the languages. Similarly, it's a platform in where you can bring different database platforms here and use them. So let's it will be more clear if you just see how it works. But first we have to connect the database which we want. Suppose I will first show it. I will first show you for the Postgres one. So I will click here, new database connection. Okay. I will search for Postgres, but as you can see, it's already here, right? I will click here. Or let me just search. Let's see what else, what other options I get. Okay, so there is two options you can see: PostgreSQL and PostgreSQL old. Okay, there is also Google Cloud SQL, PostgreSQL. Okay, so I will select this, and as also you can see here, popular databases: SQL, NoSQL. If I just clean this here, like NoSQL databases, these are available. These are analytical, right? Files, everything you can use here, right? I'll click on all. I will click on this PostgreSQL, and I will click on next. Now here host is localhost, database is Postgres. This is the port, okay. And then password was of my PostgreSQL root 123, okay. You can also click here save password, and before clicking on finish, I will just check the connections. Click here, it's connected, okay. And also if you're working for a company or for a startup or for any client, if they have the database in their end and they don't want to give you the Postgres or MySQL directly the access, they will ask you to use it from somewhere like DBeaver, right? In DBeaver they will give you a link, what is the host they have, localhost, what is the ID, what is the database name, whether it is Postgres or something else, right? Which database they want to connect. They could do multiple databases within Postgres. This is the default one. And yeah, everything they will give you, even they will give you the passwords and everything, so you can connect there. Now I will click on finish. So I can see it's here, right? So Postgres is connected, which I have in my PC pre-installed, right? Now click on the drop down. Now if you remember, or if you have watched my PostgreSQL overview video, there I have created a table which was demo products, right? So if this is connected to my Postgres, so that database with that particular table should be present here. Okay, so Postgres database is present here. Schema public, in tables you can see demo products is present, and also the columns. Let me check. Yeah, I have all the four columns, correct. Let me check the constraints. Okay, it's the constraint, right? So this is how it gets connected. Okay, let me show you for MySQL also. Again I will click here. I will search for MySQL. Which one you want to use you can choose, but I will go for MySQL, the simple one. Click on next. Then I will check your root 123 and password. Here, look, the database, there are multiple databases in MySQL if you have watched the previous video. So I'm not calling one particular database. So that is why its default check is show all databases, and this is a port. Okay. Now let's check, click on test connection. It's connected. Okay. Click on finish. You can see localhost 330, look, this particular is present here now. MySQL. So I will go to database. Yeah, company DB. If you watch the previous video of MySQL overview, there I have created another database named as company database. and within that I created a table named as employees. So if I can check, I have the data or column names from that particular table, right? So it is basically getting fetched from that particular database of my MySQL. Great. Now these two things are, this is the most important part of the connection. Okay. Now let's go and click here SQL editor, open SQL script. Now for which you want, I want to use it for localhost first. Okay. Show connected databases only, show all projects. I think that is not required. So I will just click on select. Okay. Now let's write a query. Show databases, show databases, control and enter is a shortcut to run this query. Okay. Either, or you can just click here. This will also execute the particular query, and this one also will execute the particular query in a new tab. Okay, if you want to see, it will be something like this. Look, result 2. Yeah, this is a new tab. Great. So there is another like execute SQL scripts. There are multiple scripts could be there, right? Explain execution plan. There is everything. This is the more in no depth. That is not in required, but yeah. So this is the databases which I have. Now I will use company DB. Okay, I'll click enter again. So it's using company DB. I will click on show tables and I will run this particular query. I will just select it and I will just run this. So employees is the table, right? Select star from employees. Please keep looking down where the results are being shown, right? We'll click select this and I will run. So the data is here, right? Great. Now what if you want to, you know, do it for PostgreSQL? How you will do? Nothing. You will just click here, go to SQL editor, or you can just directly click here, SQL editor, open SQL script. This is for Postgres, as you can see. Okay, Postgres database. So we'll just write here show tables. Okay, this thing I did it knowingly to make you understand that even in PostgreSQL, I cannot run this particular query because they have their different ways of. Because Postgres is directly show you the table in the left hand side rather than querying it. Okay, so it's same applicable for the in the scene or DBeaver when I'm using PostgreSQL. But what if I do? But I know that there is a table within the database Postgres, within the schemas, public tables, demo products. Okay, so what I will do, select star from demo products, control enter. So I can see the data, correct? I can see the data here. So this is how DBeaver works. It also implicates the query pattern of the platform you're using, like in the case of Postgres, as I showed you here. So this is the thing how it works. Now there are in the tab you can see you can change the script data source from here itself, right? You can even change this. And what is this? This is a dashboard. If I click it here, there will be some sessions, server sessions, transactions per seconds, blog input, output, everything will be present here. And if you want to commit, this is the button, right? Then navigate is there. Then search is present there. In within SQL editor, multiple things are there, right? Import, export, SQL queries, AI assistants, and everything is there. Database, new database connection. If you want to do, like even if you click here, this opens, right? So driver manager is there, disconnect all. If I click on disconnect all, it will disconnect all the databases, right? Everything is disconnected now. So what if I click here, SQL connect editor, open SQL script, new script. Okay, now let's see whether it works. Select star from company DB, right? It gave me the options also, right? The suggestions, which is a good thing. Control enter. Look, no database selected, correct? Why? Because I have not selected a database. Use what was the name of the database? Just okay. Sorry. Company DB was the database name. Okay, I got confused here. Use database and table name is employees. Employees. Okay, let's try again. for this particular line first, whether it runs or not. It does not run because you have not selected a database till now. So I will just click here, run this. Database is selected now. Use company DB. We close this thing with okay. Yes. Okay. Then I will run this particular thing. Run. So data is there, right? Okay. Now if I want to disconnect this connection view, this is connection view disconnect. So it is disconnected. Okay. So I hope you understood this overview of DBeaver and also how to connect multiple databases or the platforms with DBeaver. So this is all about DBeaver editor and tool overview, and I hope you understood this topic. Thanks for watching this module. Check out the next video in the beginners playlist. Explore other related modules there as well. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.